Any man can learn to do this. It's really this journey of rediscovering your body and reclaiming your sexuality. Hey guys, I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. If you want to learn more about sexual mastery, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I release new videos and go live. Make sure you get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description below. In this video, I'm going to really break down the male non-ejaculatory orgasm, dispel some myths and common things people share about it, which actually aren't true. And I'm going to share a really big secret with you towards the end of this video. So hang around for that. So for men, constantly ejaculating sucks. It really does. And I know that we're so used to it because we learned through porn and all these things that it's what we should experience as an orgasm as men. But the truth is that the pleasure you feel from an ejaculatory orgasm is just the tip of the iceberg, just the tip. For most men, the highlight of sex is this 5 to 10 second, intense, yes, but very short-lived orgasm. And after that, the problem is the refractory period. You have to recover. You often want to continue having sex, but you can't because you're limp, you're tired, you usually want to roll over and fall asleep. Ultimately, it becomes a bit frustrating, it becomes all too familiar and unfulfilling. So the benefits of having non-ejaculatory orgasms is that number one, you never experience a refractory period, so you can have sex for as long as you want, as often as you want. Your hormones will be a lot higher. You'll have higher testosterone, higher energy, more creative drive. You know, imagine ending sex feeling creative, feeling inspired, feeling just on top of the world instead of limp and unmotivated. And any man can learn to do this. No matter how old you are, no matter how stuck in your patterns are, any man can learn to have non-ejaculatory orgasms. You can do this. So first of all, I think it's very important for me to kind of dispel some myths and misconceptions around the non-ejaculatory orgasm, at least what I consider to be a non-ejaculatory orgasm. So what most of you watching this will probably think right away is the technique where you basically hit the point of ejaculation and squeeze the pelvic floor muscles, like holding a Kegel, to avoid the semen coming out, but still have the spasming in the pelvic floor that we associate as being an orgasm. I am not talking about that method. I think that method is garbage. It works, sure. If you enjoy it, that's great. But I used to do that. I didn't get very far with it. I'm talking about something different entirely. The benefits I will say to that method is that, yeah, you have these weak non-ejaculatory orgasms. You can often have them over and over. But the drawbacks to that method are the orgasms are very weak. And often after a few of these, you still have some sort of refractory period where you have a lessened degree of arousal. And the most common thing that happens is men simply have a retrograde ejaculation where semen goes into the bladder, then you urinate it out. So it's not really any different. There's another method, which I've shared as well in my channel, where you basically, again, hit the point right before ejaculation, then relax entirely. Same thing, you have this genital-centered kind of spasming orgasm without the ejaculation. That's still not what I would define as a true non-ejaculatory orgasm the way I'm going to share in this video. So keep watching. So now I'm going to get into what exactly am I talking about? How do we have these non-ejaculatory orgasms and what are they? Ejaculation and orgasm are two separate processes for men. You can learn to separate them. Hopefully you know that by now. If not, there it is. But what I want you to think about and consider is an orgasm as basically being nervous system information and electricity, excitement moving through the body. Often they are centered in a certain area of the body. For most men, that is one very specific narrow area, the penis, the prostate area. It's actually the pumping of the prostate, which is creating the spasms pumping out the semen. That's what we experience as an ejaculatory orgasm. And so this is how it is for most men. All of the excitement, all this nervous system, electricity, and information is only being expressed. It's stuck in the genitals, basically. And I'll get more into the factors why, but again, for most men, the entire zone of orgasm is limited to the genitals. And for them, an orgasm is basically an outward discharge of this buildup of tension and excitement. And you lose energy by doing that. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you feel less energized after ejaculating than you do before. To have non-ejaculatory orgasms, full body orgasms, we want to be able to allow this nervous system information and really also subtle energy, chi, right? That may be too esoteric for some people, but it's there for sure. When you allow this energy, this nervous system energy to move through the entire body, to circulate freely, to spread through your whole nervous system, your whole body, that's when you start to experience orgasm as this full body buildup. And instead of this outward discharge, you experience these internal building, this pleasure, this orgasmic pulsation. It's subtle in the beginning, yes, but you start to feel it throughout your entire body, and it never has to end, because the reason you ejaculate is that all this information stuck in the genitals is creating tension in the prostate area, firing those ejaculatory nerves eventually. But when you allow it to be spread through the whole body, There's really no upper limit as to how much arousal you can hold. So rather than being this short-lived, obvious, 5 to 10 second thing that we usually associate an orgasm as being, it becomes a state that you enter into. It's this whole body feeling of amplified pleasure, and it starts to build and build and build. It gets more pleasurable, more blissful, more orgasmic feelings. So the whole body is being flooded instead of only these very strong kind of physical pulsations centered in your genitals. So it becomes a whole different experience of what orgasm is. And so you might ask yourself, well, why am I not experiencing this naturally? If this is this natural phenomenon, why aren't men already experiencing this? Well, what I would say to that is that, again, based on our conditioning and how we experience sex, we have been so focused on this genital-centered, quick ejaculatory type of orgasm. But other factors that encourage this are the amount of tension and stress that most people have just living in the world that we're in. Most people's nervous system is completely bound up with tension and stress. And this prevents this sexual arousal and pleasurable sensations from moving anywhere through the body except for in the genitals and out the penis and ejaculation. This blockage of nervous system information correlates to the concept of chi, prana, internal energy. When your system, your nervous system, especially your energy channel system, the acupuncture meridians, when it's open and flowing, you can allow the orgasm to spread through your entire body without tensing up. This is what blocks the orgasm from getting anywhere except for the genitals, is tension. For men, it's often this squeezing of the pelvic floor, this tension that blocks the energy there and requires an ejaculatory discharge. So remember that tension causes this build up towards ejaculation, whereas relaxation and circulation allows a full body buildup that does not result in ejaculation. And the biggest barrier for most people with this is that it's initially very subtle. It's very, very subtle because we've been so overstimulated, not just sexually, because we're used to just, fucking cranking it, looking at Pornhub, and we're always on our phones, on our social media, just overstimulating all of our senses with this electronic stimulation. We've basically burned out our receptors. We no longer have this normal range of sensory input. It's like you have to turn up the volume on everything past the maximum just to feel a sense of normality. That's how bombarded all of our senses is, just living in the modern world. It is what it is. So that's why a lot of men initially are skeptical about this and have trouble experiencing this, because there's this process of readjusting to feel subtle sensations. And think about this. This was very helpful for me in learning this, is think back to the very first time you ever experienced sexual pleasure in your body. Maybe you were a teenager or whatever, learning to masturbate. And I remember for me personally, like every sensation felt absolutely incredible. Before I even fully understood what an orgasm was, every sensation felt really, really good. So I wasn't like trying to get somewhere else than what was already there. I was simply like, wow, this feels good. It's this brand new experience. So you're just completely feeling that. When you can allow sex or self-pleasure to have that degree of intensity to where you're truly just feeling every single sensation and allow it to move through your body, allow it to deepen your breath, allow it to spread. What our tendency is typically is to tense up, like, okay, that feels good, but I'm gonna tense up so that I can ejaculate. And we kill it with that tension. So when you can relax deeply, allow that feeling, allow that pleasure to spread head to toe, the more you can enhance your body awareness, the more you will be on the path to experiencing this full body state of non-ejaculatory orgasm. And you can stay in these states for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even half an hour. There doesn't seem to be any limit to it, but it takes some practice. And this is the biggest secret here, is that it's not actually about something new, learning something new, learning some fancy advanced technique. Sure, there's a lot of, techniques and advanced tools in the sexual kung fu system that will enhance this process, but really it's a letting go. It's letting go from all of the things that block us from being in the here and now, from feeling what is. Because again, we're often so focused on what isn't. We're focused on what we want to be happening. We're focused on what we think we should be feeling. We're focused on I want to have this orgasm that's not here. We're completely disconnected from the here and now. So the more you can bring your attention into the present moment, feeling your breath, feeling every little sensation on your body, not thinking about anything else, but feeling what's in the present moment, feeling every little subtle sensation of arousal and sexual pleasure. Allow that to build up and create this whole electrical current through your entire body, connecting from genitals to brain, the spine, really everything in the body. That is the key to getting into a state of full body orgasm. And it's a process, but any man can learn to do this. It's really this journey of rediscovering your body and reclaiming your sexuality. Thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next video, I'm going to share some very practical techniques to actually work with this. So make sure you check that out when I post it next week. Please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like. Let me know in the comments below what has been your experience, if any, of non-ejaculatory orgasms. Take care, my friends.